Hey, this is Chris UX. I'm the founder of the Spy Agency here in Atlanta, Georgia. And this is a short video. I just want to share like a little interesting fact about the mouse and the UX behind it. Kind of showing my age here, but my first desktop computer experience was in the early 90s as a teenager. And the computer had Windows 3.1. Yes, and many of you probably never heard of it because this is way before Windows 2000, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 95. Like they go all the way back. So, and I want to say this was like the very second version of Windows, Windows 3.1. But but also during this time where when Windows was out, they introduced a new piece of hardware, the mouse. Like I know nowadays it's so common to use a mouse, with your computer, with your laptop or whatever. But there was a time where the mouse was like a new piece of hardware. Even though that mouse first came out in the 60s, I believe, but back in the 60s, people didn't own computers in their home. It wasn't such thing as a personal computer. Um, Large, they were huge devices and very expensive. But it wasn't until like the 80s, I believe, when you starting to see more personal computers at home. But even still, they're very expensive. But yeah. So now you had this mouse that go along with your keyboard to use that make things help you use computer a lot easier. But how do you get them to use the mouse? And so this has come from a time where a lot of new hardware came with these thick, expansive manuals, and directions of how to use a device or product. But Microsoft didn't do that with this. So I do remember, when we had a computer when I was young, I used to always, play Minesweeper and Solitaire. Now, back in that day, this was considered to be high-end graphics here. But if you've never seen this before, this is a game called Minesweeper. So what you're looking at here is is a minefield, and you had to use your mouse to clear the mine. So if you hit like an empty spot, it kind of clear out. But you see these numbers here, letting you know that there's a mine nearby. So like you see a 1 here, that means this is a 1 mine nearby. You see 2, that means 2 are nearby, and so forth. And you had to try to clear the field without blowing up, basically. And the other game they had was Solitaire, which was a card game, and where you click the deck of cards, you had to click the card and you drag it to the next deck where it belongs. And so, a lot of people were, me as a teenager was addicted to playing these games, but also many, many adults, because even when Microsoft sold these Windows PCs to enterprise, to these companies, they kept the games on the system. So everybody was in their cubicles playing the game as well. And it went until like years later that I realized that there was that was by design. I just thought, I was just thinking like, well, there was just some couple of free games on the computer. But there was it was a decision behind doing that, and that was using the games to teach people how to use the mouse. I was like, that's genius, because like you imagine you get like a new piece of hardware and you get this thick manual, what this foreign object is. I mean, who reads manuals, right? I mean, even today, read a manual. Like if I buy something I need to assemble or use, I'm quicker to go to check YouTube first to see there's a video on it rather than me reading it. But so yeah, so just imagine like getting this mouse device and Microsoft was teaching you how to use a mouse without you feeling like you learning how to use a device. I thought that was like a credible UX decision. Like I thought that was masterful. Like even for that, especially during that time. Like I don't even think the term UX even existed in the 90s. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was they had that type of division part under a different name, but I don't think it was under the name UX. But I just thought that was an interesting fact that, of a way, because in UX, you want to make the products easy to use and delightful to use it. And so they made it delightful by putting these two games on your PC to get you to use your mouse. So I thought it was like a little fun fact to share. If you're around my age or older, let me know, your thoughts on it. Like, do you remember Minesweeper? Do you remember Solitaire? And if you're younger, you've always been around a mouse. Do you remember your first experience playing with the mouse, or was it easy for you? Like, I got two little ones now, and I feel like for them it's easy because they've been watching me their whole life, me using a mouse. So by the time they start using a computer, it'd be second nature. Like even like my smallest one now, like she know how to, she know if she touch this device, it gonna move something on the screen. So she already kind of like connecting the dots there. So I think it'd be a much easier adjustment compared to when this thing first came out and nobody used it before and it's your first time seeing it. So, but anyway, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.